Okay, so this is a movie. It's a horror movie. So there used to be, back in the 70s and 80s, there was this frat house on this college campus. And it was kind of an outlier amongst the Delta community, or the Greek fraternity system, because they seemed like they partied. It was just a house of dudes. It seemed like they partied, but like girls would like come on to them, and it's like they didn't have girlfriends, and girls would like, you know, approach them and be like, hey, we should party sometime at your house, and they would always just decline. It's not like, I mean, they weren't gay. They didn't send off gay vibes. It was just weird that, you know, they didn't want anything to do with lady folk on campus. It was just odd. There was murmurs. There was like, you know, trouble of brewing. There were just rumors that, you know, eventually just led to the house being shut down under kind of curious and suspicious circumstances. But now it is the year 20 something or another, and the college has decided to reopen that fraternity house. This thing is just set, you know, empty and isolated. So now a fraternity has moved in, and this fraternity likes girlfriends, you know? They like their chicks. And they're kind of exploring this old fraternity house, finding just little like clues, like, oh, like here's a photograph of the guys that used to live in the fraternity house here, and oh, you know, there's a little, like, what are these? There's like what appear to be conch shells, you know, like those fucking shells you find in Hawaii, you know, all over the place, but they more so resemble, you know, almost like taco salad shells. So they just, you know, they're just there. I don't know really what they are. They're not conch shells. They're not actually made of shells. But anyway, they find a box, you know, and it's kind of like the one box. It's in the spot of the house where it's like, what is it? It's in the attic, or it's in the basement, in like the scary part. Just drive over it, dude. And they find inside, it's a real doll. It's like a sex doll. But this thing is so beat up, abused, and just beat down that it's like fucking disgusting. And they're looking at it, and they make some jokes, and, you know, they bring it up as a joke, and they sit it down, and they say, hey, we got a new girl for you we'd like you to meet, you know, to the kind of the schmoberry that doesn't have a chick, you know, like the chubby dorky guy. They have a chick that they're going to introduce him to. So they bring him in. They're like, hey, we want you to meet, you know, whatever the doll's name is. And they bring him in there, set him down, and he, like, you know, blindfolded, and he's like, ah, you know, it's all scary. And, you know, party goes on. They're getting drunk. But this guy, like, you know, the guy that sees the real doll, he gets real drunk. He kind of keeps looking at this thing. He doesn't know what's going on. Like, what the fuck? He kind of wants to, like, see what it's like to fuck this doll, you know? So he kind of, not romantically, but kind of, you know, as far as a relationship between a human and a real doll goes, it's somewhat romantic the way he brings it to the bathroom and kind of cleans it up a little bit, you know? And then he fucks it. And it's like that thing, like at the beginning of the Friday the 13th movies where, like, you know, a little blood gets on the vampire, or, you know, lightning strikes Jason, like the little heart starts beating again. But there's not a heart, there's like a battery or something, and like the little indicator light just kind of turns on just a little bit, or it's like kind of blinking in the night as the guy falls asleep next to this doll. Anyway, we go from there. The doll eventually becomes sentient, and it doesn't like the girlfriends of this house. Like, everyone in the house eventually, through one circumstance or another, ends up fucking the doll, but the doll is now, like, very jealous of the boys and doesn't want to share them with, like, the girlfriends. So it's like there's scenes where the doll drags the girls out of their beds and kills them, you know, that sort of thing. And then the guy's lying there, thinks he's lying next to his girlfriend, and turns around and it's the fucking doll. And it's like, oh my God. And this goes on until the guys are like, how do we stop this thing? No one's going to believe us that our girlfriends are getting killed by this fucking doll, you know? And they figure out, like, the doll just wants some dick. So it ends, again, this is almost like a fucking romance movie, because it ends with, like, the guys, or like the last remaining guy, or however it works, the sole survivor, bringing this doll to you know, he knows how to do it. Anyway, he brings it to a fucking, like, just a gas station in the middle of nowhere with a lot of, like, semi-trucks coming in and out. And it's kind of the reveal is that he has, like, just fucking mounted this thing in this trucker bathroom, so all the truckers can just take turns fucking it, you know, when they're on the road. And the doll isn't just, the doll has never had anyone treat her so nicely. And, you know, this is all she wants. She just wants to take dick, you know. We'll probably call the doll some, like, you know, ex-girlfriend's name just to really fucking fuck with this, you know, whatever. But it ends with like that slow zoom out revealing like how the doll will be, you know, kept busy. You know, the truck stop, we zoom out and it's like, oh, here's a truck stop, trucks pulling in and these big fucking gross truckers getting out and going to the bathroom, and it's just farts. It's just farts and porno, you know? Anyway, so that sets us up for the sequel where, you know, that bus station or that truck stop or whatever has to shut down, and, you know, the doll always comes home. And that's the movie.